Hello guys, how you doing today? Recording this video for the third time. The first time I forgot about my microphone, so was doing video for, I don't know, for 1 hour without microphone. And then on the second time my computer decided to quit. So that time, a charm. Let me set it closer so I can be heard better. So what we're doing? We're doing routes for the communication from the front end to the back end. So essentially using the fetches. No, not yet. It's not fetches yet, but we preparing functions of routes for the fetches from front end to back end. So what have I done? Let me remember, because it was yesterday. It was too long time ago. It's ages. Yesterday was ages ago. Let me see. Routes. First of all, I import repository. So our functions, which communicate to database, which communicates to database. So I imported this into routes. I imported router from router, essentially from Express, which is installed. Where is that? Boom, 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 boom. Index with the config. Is it front end or back end? Wait a second, it's a back end. Yeah, still in the back end. If we look it up, front end, project back end. Why I never see project front here? Why I never see when I... here, it's hiding it in plain sight. Okay, so index.ts. So that's, we use Express here. And we also use Express here to get router. And so once we get router, we connect to it different functions, different paths for the fetches, which we're going to do. So essentially, we're going to get many functions here. That's here. I copied them. The headers of the functions are copied from repository, from users repository, and that's we're going to use them here. I mean, they just copied, so I don't need to go back and forward between two files, between repository and routes. So I copied headers here, and I use these headers to let me know which parameters in functions do I need. So first function I need to route a get plain route, plain route for the getting all users. So I'm using get all users. Where is that? That's the function here, get all users. It has to have limit and offset. So it's for the pagination. Essentially it will give me user, but for me right now parameters is more important. So user and total number, the object of users and total numbers. So that's I'm going to set in response users and total number. So what it does, it sets up limit, it sets up offset, it use repository function get all users with await, and so our functions arrow function async, we're going to return to response users and total number of users. If we have error, we return to the response status 500. It's internal error, internal server error, and we say we failed to get users. We can't find users, and we also post an error. Uh-oh. So I'm going to do comments here, what I need, and actually I need to return optional params. No, I don't want that. I need to have response users and total users. Yes, that's I accept. So I'm going to give them all of these functions. I'm going to give them optional params, comments, and response comments, what they return and what they need. Where's that get all users? So I can remove this comment because we did this. Then we get a certain user. Also, we use this here try catch. So we try main function and catch an error. I mean, error in response status, we give response status. We don't throw error here. If we throw new error, throw new error, for instance, here, what it will do, it will close, it will not give functions to response. So we cannot do both of them here in the catch section. We can do finally here, I guess we can do finally, but that's not good. No, that's not good. That's bad logic. So we don't throw here error. We just give response status 500 internal server error, and we give what kind of error it is message. So let's go further. We get here certain user. We required parameters of ID. And where is that? Get user by ID here. So as you see, we have only one parameter needed, and that's required parameter. And we return user. So let's do comment it out. Response user object of 04. Not found. Well, let's accept this. And let's actually add here or 400 if error. Yes, accept this. Do that. So what we do here, we try catch. We get parsing user ID here. If user ID is non-number, because we need a number here for user ID, we return status 400. And then if we pass this if statement, we try to get a user with the internal function. If we not get user, we return response status 44, not found. That's 400 invalid. And then we send response JSON user to the front end. And if we catch error, any error, we response 500 internal error, internal server error, and we give what kind of error we have, error message. We either give error message or error, depends on the if it is instance of error. So that's the second function we will be using. So we can remove get user by ID commentary. Get user by ID. Come on, we remove it. We don't need it anymore. Here, and then we get user by email, because email is also must be unique. So we can use function get user by email. It's the same. The way of doing these functions, algorithms for these functions is the same. Pretty much repeating itself. So that's why I don't want you to watch how I'm programming it, because it's pretty much the same, except some caveats, some things we need to do. For example, in this function, I need to I need to validate email here, so it's proper email. And here I will be using from now on regex, regular expressions, here. So what I'm checking here, so I'm getting from parameters email, which user submits to parameters email. And actually, let's give that here, because in this function I only need email and I return user again. So let's do comments out. So required parameters email and response user object of 04. Yes. So we take from parameter email, we check for if it is email, if it has something in it, in parameters, because if parameters is empty, if there is no such parameters, then we quit. Then we return response status 400. Also, if email is not string, we also quit. If email length is more than 255 characters, and if email is not testified by regex expression, and regex expression here is this one. I set it in the shared config. Shared config is here. No, not users config, shared config. So I created new file with the shared config, and it has two expressions, regular expressions. It's for the email regex and password regex. They are standard expressions. You pretty much can find them in the internet. There's not too much with. They checking if there is like A to Z characters, A to Z capital characters. If there is there should be decimals, I mean digits. There should be digits. There should be any of these characters, and then there's checks again for them, and there's set the that's password. That is a password. Regex regular expression. The password must not be less than 8 characters. And that checks for the end and checks for the start of expression. So for email regex, we also check the start and the end of expression. We check that expression must must not have at character. Then it must have like how can I, okay, for instance, if my email at mail.com, so this here part checks that this part does not have add character. Then it checks that at the start of expression. Then it checks for the add character, which it must have. Then it's again checks the next part for this part, mail part. So it does not have add character again. Then it has to have dot. Then it must, at the end, it must not have add character again. So that's expression. There's more solid expressions, regular expressions, which is like officially, but they're more strict. They're more strict. We don't want right now more strict expressions. So I stay with this regular expression right now. So we, where is it? Here we validate it. If it returns false, if any of these subjects, not subjects, conditions, if any of these conditions returns false, we fall into the status 400, which is like error, invalid error. So then we send this message to the user, essentially, that user did something wrong in email. If we pass this if condition, we use repository function to return us user. If we don't get user, we again fall into 404 status. And then if we don't fall into 404 status, we return user. And if we catch any error, we return internal server error, and then we return message to the user, and then return error details. Either if it's instance, it's return instance of error, we return error message, or if it's not instance of error, we just return error. Just it will be essentially, it will be just text. So that's so far. Okay, so routers, we export router, default router, because it will be collecting in after dot all functions, all routes of the user, front-end user will be using for fetching. So we return router, and router will be initialized in index.ts. Here where is it? Here's the router, user router, we call it with a specified name, user router. We import it from this path, and we are using it right here, app use users user routers. So essentially routes will be users, like my site https column, 2 slashes, forward slashes, then www.mysite.com, then it will be forward slash users, and then it will be, for instance, if the person is trying to get email, it will be slash email slash ID, not ID, email, concrete email. So that's so far I made it through. I'm going to pause video right now. I'm going to do more functions, and I'm going to very fast explaining what I did with the functions. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 different paths for the fetching different information from the backend. Or posting, either getting or posting different information from or to database. Okay, I'll see you in a second. So next function will be get simple count. Where is that? Here, get simple count. And I want to show some pitfall of IntelliSense of Visual Studio, because sometimes it gives good advices, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it fails. I don't know. For instance, for some reason, like response here, I have object. It tries to help me and say, oh, you see, I gave it examples here, like response blah 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 blah, and it tries to help me and say in response we expect in response object which value will be number, and what its names, not value, the key will be count. But that's not true. That is not true. If you can see in here, get simple count, I return promise number, not object, number. So if we look it up, where user repository, get simple count, again, I expect number. And let me see what we actually return here. We return simple count. We don't return here object. So blindly following IntelliSense or any advisors AI is very bad idea, because they can move you into very bad logical pitfalls, into logical problems later on in road. You might be not notice it, but you fail in already, like here. It's only a comment. I can actually ignore it, but it's not good idea to ignore it. We just will do this. We return here just a number. So that's important to know what you're doing, not just blindly following AI or IntelliSense. Because he is not critical, it's only a comment, but it can be, oh, actually here, well, actually we respond, but I'm I don't like that. I'm falling here right now, because it advised me to do that, but I don't want. I need only count. I need only number return to the front end, not object. I don't need object here. So we return only count. Let me think. Is object, return object. We return object. So so we return object here. We return object here. object here, object here. Well, for the consistency, we return. Well, I'm wrong. Okay. Well, count number. I was wrong. Okay, I admit it. I was wrong. Okay. I was judging intelligence. It was right, but very often for some reason, it leads to some different stuff which is not acceptable. But this time it was right. I'm wrong. It was right. For the consistency, we want to return all time objects. We don't need here. We don't here. We don't. We don't need any parameters here. Okay, so that was simple function. Yes, we want to return. We could return only count, only number here, but it would be inconsistent, and on the front end, front-ender would be thinking, right now it's me, would be thinking, what the heck? Sometimes we return object, and this time we somehow returns only number. That's sometimes confusing, so we want to be consistent. We want to return all the time same structure to the front end, which is in our case it's an object, and inevitably it will be object. So now we can remove, and for the sake of comfortable programming, I'm moving with these comments. If you notice, comments was on the top. Right now I moved it with me here. So we're removing this line. We don't need it anymore. And I'll see you in a second. Next function is search for users with the search keys and their values, which were posted by user from front end. So we do have here required usage search key, optional parameters limit of set, response user object, the array of user objects, or for 500 error. So route is search. The one thing I forgot to do is to give to our variables their strict types. And that's why we have TypeScript. So I'm here giving number, limit is number, offset is number. I'm creating new filter is record, which has key string and value string. Then I go for query from the user. I how can I say it? I go through the keys of this query. If there is no key, I shouldn't use limit. I shouldn't use offset. If it must be string, type of query must be string. So then if all of these conditions satisfied, I'm going to pass into the filter, which I created here. I'm going to pass into the filter key the value from the query key as a string. Then I'm going to use this repository function, find user, which has in its parameters, it has filter. Where is that? Find users. It has filter. It has limit number and offset number. These parameters are optional, and so it returns a promise, which is array of users, objects. So we did that. We get user. We get response from the user, and then if we catch any error, we get 500 error internal server errors. So now I need to do here if users oh my gosh, no, users dot length equals 0, then no users found, except so yeah, 4 not found, no users found matching users criteria. That's all good. And if we pass this error, we going to return users. We could return empty object too, but no, empty object here is redundant. We need to return some message to the user that his criteria is not satisfied, or return empty array. Let me think. Users and no users found. No, that is a good response. We just response for not found. To the user in the front end, we just don't show any results. That's what we do. Okay, so that's good. That's also good. So we go in further. So we can remove, where is it? Find users. We can remove this. And so we left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more, lots of yet, 12 more functions. Okay. Okay, next function is create. That's route create. The function is create user, which is right here. It has two parameters. It's user data and action by user ID. Where is it? Required email and password in object user data must be there. Password. I forgot to. So yes, I forgot to check for the password and for action user ID. Now I'm checking it. So what we're doing here, required parameters, email password, which I'm going to get from request body, and here email and password. Role can be not exist there. We have default values, and but action ID must be there. Action by user ID. So we checking if not email, email is not string, email greater than 255 characters, and if not email does not pass regular expression test, we return 400. Then if we don't have password, it's not a string, its length is less than 8 characters, and again it doesn't pass regular expression test, we return 400. If there is no action by user ID, or user ID is not a number, we return 400. Then we're getting then we're using create user function, which is in repository, which is this one function. So we're getting from it user ID, which is number. If we don't get user ID, or if it's not a number, we return 500, internal error, failed to create user. Because that means it's a mistake, the error occurs. And then the response returns status to 1, which is created, an object to be consistent of user ID. We catch error, failed to create user, with the message error or error. So let's go for the next function. We can remove this one here. Can remove this one here. Create user. We're going to copy this again. Remove it from here. Move it down here so it will be easier to work with. We left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Why it's always 12? What is going on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can count. Okay. Do you want programmer who can count? Well, okay. Let's go further. Next function is update. Users update. So the route will be here. User. Let me. Repository. No. Into index. So we have here users. Initial. Where's routes? So it will be users. In update. Whole route will be whole route. Yeah, well, the whole route will be like this: https my 3w, or without 3w my website.com, or .edu, or something, or something. .gov could be, but normal is .com. Then users update, so the fetch will be with this kind of address, but we don't need it here. Who one? We just need to update this. So that function is interesting because I noticed one moment here, and that's why I'm going again separate. I wanted to do them in bunch of 3 functions, but I will slightly stop here. Why? So we have update user. Initially, okay, let's go with the order. We have required parameters user ID, user data, which we want to update, and the user data can be, where is it? Actually, let's use this one. So we use proper database. Tables, users, columns. So any of this data can be updated, well, except created that, updated that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, for admins, it can be changed, right? As I remember. So here we have user ID important for us, user data important for us, action by who is doing the changes, user ID is required, all of this required. Optional here is role, which I will do as default to user, assign it to user. So if it's admin or root or moderator, they need to specify their roles, otherwise it will be user and their changes will not work, most likely. Then we have response. Response here, I did one mistake. Originally, I return void. I return nothing from the function, from the method. And so I went to the repository and I changed it on updated user. I changed promise to number, returning to number, and I changed return here to user ID, which is number. And I notice one more thing. I often return void, but that's not right approach. That's a very bad approach. I need to return like restore user. I need to return user ID, which user will be restored. And so in the routes, I can return to frontend message with the user ID and message what has been done to this user. So I will be changing them here on the returns promise. You see too many voids here. I don't want this. It's a very bad approach to the functions. Oh, lots of them I see. And so one thing I want to do tests. I still need to do tests for repository methods, and I'll still do publication of it too, because it's interesting how many mistakes, errors I will have in my methods. Here, and interesting to see because right now all I'm doing is assumptions. It's not like solid functions. I do them as much as solid as I can, but I need to test them so to be sure they're working properly. And it's very interesting how many mistakes I do. Like here I return promise, but I do need to return number here. So, and it's interesting how many stuff I missed and how many things I need to fix in them. So I will post my tests here with vtest here too on YouTube. You can skip it, but if it's like detective, you know, like kind of doing detective roles here. So updating user, we get a body, we get from it user ID, user data, which is object. We getting role. If we're not getting role, we using user role, and who is making changes. So later on, in repository functions, we can validate changes. Where is it? It's not that. Where? Update. Where is my update? Here, update. So we validate admin key and validate user update data later on. So we are going back to routes. Again, no user ID or it's not number, we return error. No user data or it's not object, we return error. No action by user or it's not number, we return error. We then update user, we return its number. We give on response, we give message which is updated successfully, and user ID. If any errors was caught, we're going to return message with this error. That would be it for right now. And for the sake of keeping records, we're going to remove this update user comment. Don't need that anymore here, and move on to update password, because that would be logical. Here. Okay, this is the function for update password route. We require here user ID, new password, move it, old password, and action by user ID. Response will be the object of user ID and message or 500 error. Again, I need to go to update password method in repository. Needed to return user ID from it. So I change this and I change it to void here to number. Why we do need it? Because this returns tells us that all transactions went successful. When we return nothing, void, we don't really know if here if the transaction was successful. Well, we know it because if it's unsuccessful, it will throw the error here and roll back every changes. But still we need something more concrete if function method is successful. So that's user ID is something concrete, something we return from function if it is successful. So I need it. I don't, that promise void was my mistake, was my error of doing this. So I'm fixing it right now. So come back to the routers. So if no user ID or it's not number, 400, no new password, 400 error. If not old password, 400 error. If not action by user ID, 400 error. If the password, new password will be equal to old password, we return 400 and message that new password must be different from the old password. Then we do repository method with all data provided. We wait for the user updated, and then response to JSON to the front end with the user ID and message. Object which contains user ID and message. If catch any error, we return 500 internal error with already familiar structure to it. Okay, let's go further. For the sake of keeping records, we remove this. And we don't need this one, I noticed also. Create root user, it's insider function method of repository. We don't need it on the front end, so we can remove this one too. Well, do we? Let me just 5 seconds. Let me think. Create root user cannot be initialized from front end, so we don't. Or can be initialized by root user. Can be initialized by root user from front end, but then it can be faked. But it cannot be faked because I'm going to check it if it's root. If it's not on the front, I'm going to check it on the front end. If it's not root user, then I'm not going to give it this functionality to the other users. But it can be faked by the we don't want to do this on the front. It will be technical. Ooh, let me think again and again and again. I'm right now I'm like a squirrel running around. But the problem is that any function, if I don't set proper guards, can be faked from the front end. And this is like key function which will create root user. So I do need to check on if I'm going to use this function on the front end, I'm going to be very careful implementing it on the front end. I have to set 1 million guards from it will be used by any user. Okay, I will leave it for right now. I will leave it for right now. Okay, let's go to the next function. Okay, deleting function, delete route. We need user ID, action by user ID. It's here. User ID, action by user ID. Originally it was promise void returning, but not anymore. We're going to get from request body user ID, action by user ID. We're going to check them. Then we're going to now I was thinking about that I need not only the user ID who was changed, but also I need the user ID of the person who was changing information from the user. Can be same numbers or can be different numbers. So I went to this function into the repository and I updated this function, where is that, delete user, to this promise returning user ID and actor ID, and then return object instead of just number from this function. So here we also return JSON in which we have user ID and actor ID. And so I need to went back a little bit. I will not show it, and I will not show changes here, but I need to update password route, so it returns also the actor, not just, where is that? Not just user ID, but also actor ID. Update, I need to change. Also, create. Do I need to change create? Let me see. Right now, we have, where is the create? Here's the create function. We have return here, but we also have action ID by user ID, so we can return, absolutely can return also actor ID. So I need to change here to fix it. Then that's create. I don't need search. I don't need to count. I don't need search by email. I don't need search by ID, and I don't need here. So I need just couple changes. I need to create one, update two, update password three. Three functions I need to change. So I'll do it quickly, and then we will move on to the just a second. Okay, so where I was, I don't remember. So delete user, we can remove this command. So we have not so many functions left. Well, many, but not so many. So post, yeah, I need to change the other ones, so we can expect this from the backend to the front end communication. Do I check here everything? Yes, I think I do. And one more thing I wanted to say is that for deletion user, like changing password, the user will need to log in again. So the user logins once and can use his backend, I don't know how to say it, admin panel. But in order to change password and delete himself or herself, he will need to log in again for one more time. So I'm not using this check here. It will be used separately from front end. Okay, I'm going to change a little bit, adjust backend functions. So I did two more functions. First function suspend. So we try catch, get user ID, suspension until, and user who did ID, checking them until checking them, checking for the date. If it's not a number, then we return status 400. User ID checking, then get information about user ID who was changed and actor ID who was changing it, sending request, and same thing for unsuspended, because we can suspend user, we can unsuspend it, so we can return user to active state. Remember, we have states for the users. Where is it? Users types, and here is the user status, which is pending, active, suspended, banned, deleted. Now there's one question reason right now. For example, we cannot delete user if it's already deleted. So we need to check for this, not, we need to check for this in the router, preferably. But we definitely have to check it in the repository functions. So where is deleted? Deleted, delete user. If we look at it, do I check it? Do I check this condition? I checked for result. I check for the connection. I checked for result. I check for the log ID after I do log, but I don't check it. I don't check it before making execution in the query, so I don't check it. So that's I need definitely here check. And if I want to also send not just throw the error, but I want to send response, then I need to check it in the router. So I'll make a pause here and I'll show you. And also when I need to do this also for the restore, yes, for the restore user. For the I don't need it for the suspend user because user can be suspended several times. It can his or her suspension can be prolonged. This time can be prolonged of the suspension. But I need to check it for unsuspended user. I need to check it for the. I don't need to check it for the ban user. I need to check it for the unban user. I need to check it for the activate user. And that would be it. Yeah, that would be it. So these things I need to check for. So I'll see you in a second. I'll show what I have done for this matter. So I adjusted right now two functions or methods because it's a class, it's a methods. So delete user, we fetch user by user ID. If we not found it, him or her, then we throw the error that saying we cannot find the user ID. We can find the user by his or her user ID. And then if we check in and we already see that user status is deleted and user info deleted at already exists, then we throw the new error saying the user is already deleted. Restore function, we doing pretty much the same stuff, fetching user, checking if it exists. If not, we throw the error. And if the status is not deleted and is not deleted at, then we throw the error saying that the user is not deleted and can be restored. So saying actually that the user is already restored can be saying it's simpler. The user is already already restored, and the status is user info status. So that's two functions for delete and restore user. Then we're going to functions. We passed this by because we can suspend users several times, but unsuspend user cannot be unsuspended several times if he is already or she is already active. So I'll do pause here. So pretty much doing the same stuff. We fetch user. That's unsuspend user. We fetch user. We throw the error if we can't find him or her. Then we going to check the status. If it is not suspended already and the user info suspended until then we throw the error saying that the user is already unsuspended, so we cannot unsuspend him or her another time. Okay, so now we're going further. So next function is ban user. Let me close this one, close that one, close this one, close that one, ban user, and unban user. Yep, we need to do them too. Actually, yep, no. Begin transaction, yeah, okay, so I need to do them too. I'll see you just in a second. So same stuff. I'm checking for user info and then user status. We don't have banned date because normally if the user is banned, that's forever. So that's why I don't use here in a database banned at column. Very rare, the user can be unbanned by a root user for some uncommon reason, and so we need to check that again. So we fetch user info. We if we not get user info, we check it and throw the error. And then if we can't find status banned on this user, we throw the error saying that can be unbanned because it's already unbanned. So much would I do here? Update set until no suspended. So I'm using, you see, I'm suspended until no. So I'm clearing for anyways, I'm clearing suspended until null here and clearing this one and update now. That I will also need to change. Status where, but that's I will do on the testing. Status active because we unbanning him or her. And here is status banned. Yep, it's all right. It's all good. Just a little bit doubt, but it's all good. So what do we need to do extra? Activate user. Yeah, we need to check it here because like if we activate user and user is already activated, there's no meaning in it. So we need to check it at this also. So I'll see you in a second. And so, okay, we're doing the same stuff. We're fetching user. If we couldn't find user, then we throw the new error. Then we checking the status, is it active or not? And if it's already active, we throw in the new error saying it's already active. And while we at it, I think I have one more logical error. For instance, that no need, create root user, no need, activate user, we already have check, here, and here, restore user, suspend user. Yeah, we need to check here user. Wait a second. So if we fetching user, and if we can't find this user, then we throw the error. I need to check if we can find the user himself or herself. Because if we can't find user, then it's we have a problem. And so we need to throw the error saying we can find the user before doing something with the user. So we did that. Then restore user. We already did that. Check. Delete user. Checking. Update user. Update user. User role I'm passing here. But do I check user before actually update user? Actually before doing something with this query, execute query here, but I don't check if the user, because if we can't find this user who we update, then this all the sections are in vain. So we need to pass it here. We go to delete user, we copy this, Ctrl C, and paste it right after begin transaction. Do we pass user ID? Yes, we do. So it's all good. So we checked this. Update password. We need to do the same, I bet. I don't have, no, I do have pool here. Why I don't have begin, I do have begin transaction, but it's in the wrong place. It's in the wrong place. We're going to, no, I'm checking him already here. Get user by ID, which is fetching. But why I put begin transaction? I put it too far away. I need to put it here, actually at the start. Yeah, small bugs, making them up. So then we checking the user. So it's good. Update password. Login user. We're actually checking here him too, or her too. That's good. Why I forgot the later on to do this? That's what I'm wondering about. Maybe I didn't forget? Maybe I didn't forget, I just double it. Well, double check is not, no, it's bad because it's extra complexity, extra big O. Well, which is 1 or 3, maximum 3, because it's if statement. Oh no, actually not 3. Big O will be extra 2, because we checking for the truth, and then we do operation, so it's a 2 extra. So create user we don't need, find user don't need. Okay, so it's all of it good, the rest of it good. So we close this one, and then we need to proceed with the routes. So we did suspend user, we did unsuspend user. So we can remove suspend user from here, and we can remove unsuspend user. We're very close to the end. Unsuspend user, restore user. We didn't do restore user, we did delete user, right? Yes, delete. We need to restore user here. I'll see in a second. So we did restore function route. So we get user ID from the request action by user ID. And I just want to say I'm considering right now to do REST API more like this, more like that way than request its right way proposing some action. But I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure yet about it. I'm thinking about it because we will have in the body here already all information. It's just the preferences of style. It's just we either set ID into the search, into the address line, like this, HTTPS. Then we're going to slash 3w my site.com users restore. Right now my page will be like, looks like this, with the body which include user ID and action by user ID. But it's possible to do also this restore. I think this is and then ID equals something blah 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 blah, and that will be like with the column and the ID equals so. No, actually, wait a second. It will be not like that. That will be like this. It will be like this. But I'm thinking right now to actually include into the body, like I just did, because that for me it's more familiar. So we're setting question mark, and then we're doing user ID is here, user ID, and it will be equals to so, and then it will be end, Where's the end? And will be action by user ID equals to this number, for instance. That will be in the body. So I think I'll still leave it like that because that's more familiar to me. Yeah. So we'll leave it like this, and it's just a preference of taste in reality. So what I was talking about this route. So we check in action by user ID. If not, we're returning. Then we is using user repository function. We return the object and we return response to it. If we catch any error, then we return status 500 with the error. Something like that. And so we can remove restore from here. We can remove restore. Suspend as suspend. We removed already. So let's move this further down. And we left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more routes. Okay, added 3 more functions. It's routes. Ban user. So again, user ID action by user ID. If neither of them is there, we throw the error. Getting banned info from ban user. That's user ID and actor ID. Response, sending response. We send a response which is user ID, actor ID in message. If catching error, we get in 500 and we get an error message here. And by the way, if we not found the user by himself or herself, then we will send a catch error from a repository function anyway. So here I'm doing checking on the user info, and if it's banned, it throws new error, so it bubbles up into routes, and we send response status to the front end from here. So it's all good. I don't need to implement throwing error and checking user info again in the routes. We already checking it in repository, so it's all good. Then we go and we setting the unban pass route, same logic, user ID by action user ID here. Then we checking them and throwing the errors. We're getting unbanned info. And we checking if the person was already unbanned or not. And so sending a response JSON to the front end and getting error in the case something happens bad. And then login one, getting mail and password from the user. Yes, that's right. Email and password from the user, checking if we have email, checking if we have password. We checking for the password correctness in repository function. If we look it up, login, looking for login user, and here we checking for the bcrypt compare. So if the password is not matching, then we throw the error and throw the error completely out of this function into the routes, and then sending the status to the user. It's kind of bubbles up to the surface. So we did these functions, so we can remove login user from here, ban and unban user, and proceed further. I just need to comment them out. I'll do it behind the scene. What we need also, we need to move to, we have left with the two functions more. So going down here, going to post comments here, and two more functions left. So I'll see you in a second. So we create two more routes. Activate, you and me. Activate, getting IDs, checking, using user repository method activate user, getting info from it, sending response, sending error status to frontend. Pretty much the same here, although they different, how can I say it, have different purpose completely. So getting from body request email, password, user root, active right away, checking them, checking email, checking password, actually creating root user with the create root user method from user repository class, sending status, and if error, sending error to the front end. That would be it for user routes. This, how many functions here? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 functions, if I counted right. And I need to post, again, we can remove this here. And I need to post some comments for these two functions. Actually, and that would be it for the routers, which is generally just need to help repositories functions to participate in the front-end activity. Okay guys, I'll see you in next video. Thank you. Subscribe, comment, suggest, like, dislike, and critique. Thank you. I'll see you next time.